Good morning, beloveds. It was a warm day in the park today. There was also a tournament going on, and it's one of those where college scouts are there. So it was a little intense. They were all big girls, though, so the park wasn't completely full. We got there earlier. The squirrels were not. There's a lot of people, and so the squirrels and the blue jays, until that final moment. There was this one moment where we saw a couple of, like, one or two of them, and we did see one of the um, woodpeckers. But so I may have gotten a couple of really interesting pictures, though. We'll see. All right, so it is June 3rd, and our title is Her Final Lesson. And this is Marguerite Lewis from her final undelivered lesson in its New Thought Spiritual Center of Eastern Long Island from March of 2008. We are told clearly in Matthew 4:4, people shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth from the mouth of God. What suddenly swept over me was our bumbling human interpretations of those clear directions. The true staff of life is not some concoction of wheat and water and cornmeal, but the living word of God that directs our souls to our own infinite provision and divine nature. Didn't Moses say, the word is very nigh thee, even in thy mouth? The word of God is the creative word that supplies our every need. Far more basic than bread, but likened unto that commodity, because even the most deprived and doltish among us knows that without some sustenance of life on this plane ceases. Without some sustenance, life on this plane ceases. But oh, my dears, the Bible is an allegory. Look how long it's taken for the lit bulb to go on in my head. And I have given these subjects 32 years of study and contemplation as an adult. The Word of God sealed in our souls and listened for and obeyed will meet our every need and then some. Bread, because it is a universal need, was the nearest ancient equivalent available everywhere to sustain life. So also is a constant awareness of the presence and availability of our God, and even more essential, the Word of God enthroned in the soul of people becomes a channel direct to the all good or the fountain of God's gift filling our lives. All right. She's given 32 years. I have not given 32 years. I've given like 5 since I got out of school. But what I'm hearing her say is something that Jessie says. What the ancients were saying is, look, you know what? Without bread, you die. So what are the words of God? Without creative expression, we die. Okay? Not necessarily physically, but mentally, emotionally, our souls. Now, our souls can't really die, but you know what I mean. So and here I'm leaning into the lessons that I've learned from Reverend Jessie, is that without creative expression, without being able to express ourselves, without being able to channel that creativity of the divine through ourselves, then we die. Our body may not, but we do. The essence of who we are doesn't flourish, so then, and I hate to say this, then we become zombies. Then we become walking, cogs in a wheel, but there's no joy. There's no love. There's no expression. There's no creativity. We just go through the motions, is what I'm saying. It's when we take that creativity and create things in this material plane. And I don't necessarily mean even just things, I'm not talking necessarily about stuff. Books and poetry and art and and relationships, when we create that kind of stuff, when we are channeling that kind of stuff into this plane of existence, that's where we're fed. That's where our soul flourishes, our spirit flourishes, the mental and emotional side of us. That's so, if you lean back into Matthew, it's like, it's not by bread alone. It's like the material stuff will keep your body alive, but it won't feed your soul. And so what we are leaning into is, we've got to feed our soul. We've got to be who we are. It's all about that self-expression, which I find interesting that we're in Pride Month. It's all about that self-expression. It's about letting people be who they are. And at which point I'm going to lean back into judge not lest you be judged. So let people be who they are, and let them express themselves, and just, and they flourish. And you can, and if you are who you are, then you can flourish. And if you don't like what somebody else is doing, then don't look. Go change the channel. You know what I'm saying? Which goes for me too. If you don't like what I'm saying, change the channel. You don't have to listen to me. But it does come back to that self-expression. It's unity, not uniformity. It's infinite variety. What is it? I saw this the other day from a friend of mine about Star Trek. It's diversity in infinite combinations or something. And it was one of the most beautiful things about Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry had a vision for the future, and where, all of these different populations would get together and work together to make the world a better place. And, and gender and color and species wouldn't matter, because we would celebrate that diversity. And that's unity, not uniformity. So I think that's what Marguerite is talking about here, is leaning into expression, leaning into self-expression, expressing, allowing that divine creativity to flow through us. And that's what feeds us mentally and emotionally. And that's where we flourish. And as she said, it's like 2,000 years ago, or when this was written down, the closest thing that they could come to was bread. And now what we have to remember is, people need bread. People definitely need bread, but they need to be able to express themselves emotionally, creatively, mentally, to express who they are. And that's where they're fed. That's where they're fed. That's where their souls will flourish. And then we don't have a bunch of zombies walking around just going through the motions. So, her final lesson. I hope to be as wise as she is when I'm 32 years in. All right. Let me whip right back through here. The true staff of life is not some concoction of wheat, water, and cornmeal, but the living word of God that directs our souls in our own infinite provision and divine nature. The word of God is the creative word that supplies our every need. Far more basic than bread, but okay, that's what I just said. But oh my dears, the Bible is an allegory. So, nope, hang on. The word of God sealed in our souls and listened for and obeyed will meet our every need and then some. Bread, because it is a universal need, was the nearest ancient equivalent available everywhere to sustain life. So it is a constant awareness of the presence and availability of our God, and even more essential, the word of God enthroned in the soul of people becomes a channel direct to the all good, or the fountain of God's gift filling our lives. So, as I said, I'm leaning into what Reverend Jesse says. People shall not live by bread alone, but by the every word that proceedeth from the mouth of God. Self-expression. If we want to live, then that is what we need. Now, that's where Science of Mind has that social justice of, we want to help people meet their basic needs, because when they can meet their basic needs, then they can turn to fulfilling their soul needs. Then they can really live, as she says. Then they can turn to the Word of God. And so I guess I will lean into that last sentence. The mission to the day, should we choose to accept it, is the constant awareness of the presence and availability of our God in becoming a channel. It's like when you become constantly aware of the presence in your life, then you naturally become a channel for that presence through you into the world. Because we say, God can only do for you what God can do through you. Well, if you want to be that divine channel that I talk about, then you need to be aware of the presence and the presence flowing through you, and then listening to that guidance. So we cannot live on bread alone. We need creative self-expression. All right, that's Marguerite Lewis. So the mission today, should you choose to accept it, practice that constant awareness. Practice being that divine channel. And for Pete's sakes, or your sake, go express yourself. Find out who you are. Not who you have been told you are, but who you are, and express that. All right, that's the mission. The other one is the same one I'm going to give you every day, which is, I'm just calling it what it is, self-care. It is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. It can be one thing, it can be three things, it can be a short little meditation, or it can be an all-day thing, because occasionally what you need to do to be loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself is take the day off. Rest. Like I said, it's self-care. Sometimes it looks like taking a deep breath before you speak. Sometimes it looks like taking a walk, taking a nap, taking a break. It's Saturday. This is my nap day. Saturday and Sunday, I make sure to get a nap. Because I don't have time during the week. So that's what I'm talking about. Taking care of yourself. Self-care. Absolutely. And I want you to practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself for 3 dedicated reasons. 1, you are your own best test subject. Is this the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do? Well, you get immediate feedback. 2, I am encouraging you to create a habit. I'm encouraging you to create a well-worn path to the source of your own being, to the center of your being, to create that divine channel of connecting to the infinite source of love, kindness, and compassion. All right. When you connect to the infinite source, you realize it's not a finite resource. It's infinite, and it can flow through you at any time. And you're going to meet people who are going to need a little extra. And when you can immediately connect to the infinite source, you're good. And then the third reason is simple. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. All right. That's why I want you to practice on yourself. You deserve it. I also want to remind you, because one of my other suggestions was, and I did it jokingly for a long time, eat dessert first. Okay? Because it's funny and it's cute. But I also mean it. Okay? Because what I realized when I say eat dessert first, what I realized what I was saying is your life is a special occasion. Make room for joy in your life. Joy is a quality of God. Joy is a quality of you. Make room for it. No matter what is going on in the world, you deserve joy. So one of the most loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do for yourself is to make room for it. All right? God can do through you what God can do. God can do for you what God can do through you. Make room for joy. And sometimes that looks like wearing the nice clothes and eating the good food and drinking the good stuff and using the fine china and the nice glasses and wearing nice clothes. And sometimes it looks like wearing really comfortable clothes and doing nothing. All right. Make room for joy. With it being Saturday, I get to have a catter day and spend a little time snuggling with my cats. And honestly, that can be the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing I can do for myself. There's nothing like a purr. Well, that's not true. The two best sounds in the entire world, according to me: cat purr, baby laugh. Cat purr, baby laugh. Google them and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. There is nothing like the sound of a baby laughing. Really laughing. Okay. So practice on yourself. Love, kindness, and compassion. The rest of the usual suggestions are: do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like to you, for you, unless it is your day of rest, because you do need to make sure you rest that body. Drink plenty of water. Yeah, you saw me with my glass. I brought it with me today. Your brain works better when it's well hydrated, so please drink plenty of water. That's actually a mineral water concoction. I put trace minerals and lemon juice and a little stevia to take the edge off the trace minerals. Really good after you've been in the park all day. And then take, early in your day, bright light. When we first got to the park, there was a little bit of sun, so I had taken my sunglasses. I ended up needing them most of the time, but I did get that face full of sun first thing in the morning. I'm talking 5-10 minutes. Okay. Circadian rhythms. This is what I'm talking about. It is a natural hormone cycle. When you get that early in your day face full of sun, then it helps to reset those hormones and you have more energy during the day and sleep better at night. Now, if you get up before the sun or it gets cloudy like it is right now, artificial light can help too. What you're kind of looking for is that blue light. So, whatever it takes to get you that. You can buy blue light boxes if you really do get up before the sun. It is very helpful. And since we started exercising in the morning, I actually do sleep better and I'm not as cranky in the morning. I'm not a morning person. So that early in that daylight actually helps with that. So, all right. And as always, I'm going to give you my favorite Ernest Holmes quote: open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Because it's a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. When you learn that heaven is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, because that's what she's talking about. The word of God, it's a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It is a mental and emotional thing. Then heaven ceases to be a place and becomes any place. And if you practice that presence constantly, like Marguerite was talking about today, heaven can become every place. And if that is not a superpower, I don't know what is. And that is also one of those ways where we work towards creating a world that works for everybody. When you learn how to create that heavenly state of mind, you move through the world differently. All right. So practice it. And as always, you can take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. So, all right. I guess I'm at the part where I remind you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact, and those hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it will take you right to the information you want, i.e. our YouTube channel. Click here now will take you right to the Creative Life Spiritual Center Soul Session playlist, and that is a fantastic playlist. We've got all kinds of really neat people on that. So look out for that. Or it'll take you to the person that'll help you get the information. So, okay. I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a catter day, I'm out of adjectives today. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. As I have said before and will say again, you are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a divine channel. You are a creatively expressing being. You are a godling, as Jesse likes to call us, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. All right? Explore the truth of your being. Get to know yourself. Practice the presence, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right? I know this. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. And since tomorrow is Sunday, if you're watching this today, then we'll have an amazing service for you on Facebook Live or in person at 11. So please watch out for that. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.